right, so we're going to go ahead and get started here. So I just want to reintroduce myself here. My name is Shayna. I have been with Housecall Pro for about 3 years, specifically in the Housecall Pro Assist side. Now, to start off with, I was a virtual assistant. I did go through this process, so I have a ton of knowledge on how it works, like fully in a circle here. So with Housecall Pro Assist and Voice, we're going to talk about how we're building this 24/7 call handling process for your business. We wanted to dive in on how we can take away that overhead or complexity. Now, with Voice and House Call Pro Assist, you're going to be able to make sure that every call is answered, every lead is captured, and then every opportunity is going to be maximized. And this is going to be whether you're in the office, out in the field, on vacation, wherever that may be. You're going to be able to have those calls and leads answered for you. Alrighty here. So these are going to be our learning objectives for today. So by the end of this session, we are going to successfully learn how to build a fully customized call system using Housecall Pro. We're going to be walking through on live transfers, intelligent routing. We're going to be able to take intake tagging. So that way you're able to track all your call quality and return on investment in real time. So most importantly, we're kind of going to walk through on how to book jobs and estimates 24/7 with Housecall Pro Assist using our scripting, scheduling, and we're actually going to be able to go over the branding that is tailored to your business. Now, everybody handles calls differently. Some may have a customer service representative, some may handle calls by themselves. There is something that's going to be a fit for everybody. Okay, so first thing is why does call coverage still matter? Call coverage is a tech driven word. Everybody still prefers to call in and talk to the business, talk to somebody that's in your office. This is going to be the number one way that they want to book your services. So every unanswered call, you're not just missing the call, you're not just missing the job. It's going to be a missed repeat customer, a referral, return on the marketing investment that you're running. And when a call goes unanswered, that lifetime value is just going to walk out the door. So let's say a new customer calls in and your customer service rep misses that call, or you're busy and you're on the field or talking with the customer and it misses, then you're missing that value there. You're going to be missing that customer that calls in. That could have been somebody that you're going to be working with for the rest of the time that your business is open. These are going to be the pitfalls that you might run into. I remember Tate saying something, he handles calls by himself. When you handle calls by yourself, that might work like early on. You might be able to handle these calls, right now, but it's not going to end up being scalable in the end. It's going to quickly become really overwhelming because you're trying to balance everything out. You are, the one that wears all the hats. You're going to be taking the calls, scheduling the calls, going to the jobs. You're doing all the admin work. So basically, hiring help is going to add the cost, and then managing that is going to add the stress on your shoulders. Now, traditionally, answering services, they can often fall short. That can be with limited customization, poor integration, and then little visibility on how they're actually going to handle your customers. Now, when you kind of look into integrating, you're getting a little bit more reporting. You're getting that rapport building that's already within your system. All right. So now stepping in, introducing Housecall Pro Assist and Housecall Pro Voice. So we created these two integrated systems here. It's a full call handling solution that's going to be built specifically for pros in the home service space. So you are always on, you're always consistent, and then you're always going to be working with your business, not just for it. When you started your business and when you were here and you're like, what, I think I'm going to open up a business. You did that because it was a hobby. We want to take away, that stress part where it's like, I have to go to work, and be like, I get to go to work and do what I like to do. So this is going to help you do that. So Housecall Pro Voice, Housecall Pro Assist, they're going to give you the benefits of a call center. But here's the thing, it's going to give it to you without the expense, out management headaches. You're never going to miss a call. You'll get to book more jobs, and you're going to have a peace of mind knowing that your customers are always taken care of. And that's because we're going to be able to capture every lead like we're working in your office. We are an extension of you. So with, Housecall Pro Voice and having everything integrated, we're letting you take those calls to the next level, integrate that within your platform. You're going to be able to do lots of things here. You're going to have your voicemail management, your call tracking. You're going to be able to gain visibility, eliminate third-party tools. You're making smarter decisions, faster decisions, and this is going to help you streamline in the best way possible. So when you bring this directly into Housecall Pro, you get your spam filtering, and then, like I said, your voicemail management. You get your call masking and conversation logging. if I'm a customer and you're calling into me and you're saying like, hey, like I have a random number calling into me. I don't know if I want to pick that up. And your call masking is going to show me like, hey, your business is calling me. I know I need to pick this up. So it kind of allows you to be a little bit more trustworthy with your customers as well, especially with spam being so annoying these days. I definitely get that 100%. So I want to take a look at what Housecall Pro Voice is going to look like in action for your business here. So this is your all-in-one solution. And you can see here it's listed out, in the demo what we're going to see. We're going to see how you never miss a call. You're going to standardize a 5-star customer experience within your system, and then you're going to be able to optimize your marketing and reporting. So up here, you'll be able to go to your phone. This is where that voice over internet protocol comes in, or VoIP for short. This means that you're not going to have to, jump between multiple phone lines. You're not going to have to jump through apps. Everything is going to be right here for you, and you're going to be able to answer through your desktop as well as your mobile app. I'm going to show you guys this little short video here. Let me start it over. There we go. You can see here that they're running through the process. You can see here that they're on their profile. They're able to make that call from that profile when somebody either calls in or they see that there. Now, if you were to enter this customer's name, you're also able to go ahead and make that call there. Now, let's say when a call comes in, and then you hear the dial ringing. You're going to be able to see that in your browser notification or your mobile app, whichever one that you're going to be using, as long as it's open in the background for your mobile app. Now you can see here, I'm not sure if it's automated here. It's not. Okay, so you can see here, somebody's calling in and you see this dial pad opened up. You're going to be able to see which customer is calling in, and then when you answer it, I'm going to show you actually this here, which is our next step, our customer intake process. Fun fact is that this actually is what's used when Housecall Pro Assist takes a call. Now, it's not going to be directly, what you set up for your team, because you might take a call differently than we do. But essentially, we are making this easy for you. It's a simplified process for you to be able to handle these calls the same every time. You're giving them that good customer experiences. And then you're also not forgetting to ask the qualifying questions that you want to ask every time. So here you can see that, is this a residential or commercial property? If you want to add the approximate age of the property, these are all questions that you're able to ask your customer every single time without forgetting, and then having to qualify them as well. So next we're going to talk about, streamlining your incoming calls. We're going to be able to queue your processes, place them on hold, or if you do have multiple team members there, you are able to transfer within your department. So let's say, I'm a part of your team and you take that call. Let's say I'm in the accounting part, and then you give it a call, and then you're like, oh, let me get you over to Shayna. And then all you have to do is type that in and it's going to shoot it over to me. That way you have that within your call system. And here you're able to customize that process as well. You're going to be able to forward based on your hours, your ring groups, and then you'll be able to have your voicemail messages as well. Now, let's say, for example, you have Housecall Pro Voice and Assist together. You're going to be able to set these steps up. Do you want it to play a greeting? Do you want it to forward to yourself and then Housecall Pro Assist? Do you want us to do it after hours and business hours? These are going to be your customization side that you get to set up for Housecall Pro Assist and yourself. All right, and then you're going to be able to create these on each phone line, season, or even if you're doing like a special promotion as well. This is what I was talking about, keeping up with that call tracking, keeping up with what you have going on, so you can see where you can put more money in your, advertising and your marketing. You're able to see where most of your leads are coming in from as well. All right, and this is going to talk about it answering on the mobile app. So it'll come through normal process. You can see here, they're going through the process, finding the customer they need to call, create new customers. These are things that you're going to be able to do with Housecall Pro Voice. All right, now the fun analytics stuff. So basically we have a pre-built, or you can create your own to like do your reporting. You can see how many calls are answered, where are they calling from, which of your employees are the most successful at turning calls into revenue. So this way you can kind of decide, hey, does this person need more training here? Do I need to put them here? This is going to help you report on what you need to see. Same thing with call conversion here. Do you want to see it daily, weekly, monthly? Do you want to see like what you did in a certain range there? You're going to understand like what turned into an estimate, what was a lead, what was a job. You get to stay on top of your conversions. And then back to what I was talking about before, knowing to invest, what your return on investment is going to be. How do customers normally find you? Are you able to track these across your lead sources? Where do I need to drive to get this more revenue here? And then last but certainly not least, tracking your conversion by employee, going back on where do I need to put somebody? Where are my top performers? What are turning into opportunities? What is turning into revenue? And that way you can kind of gain insight on where to improve that individual performance as well. And then lastly, we want to say goodbye to multiple tools. We want to be your one-stop shop. So that way you can make sure you're streamlining. Let's get kind of talking to call tracking. Call tracking is basically going to show you which marketing efforts are actually driving the results that you need. So basically, if you're spending money on ads, you should know exactly what's working and what's not working. So basically, with the built-in tracking, you're going to be able to gain the visibility, eliminate the third-party tools, and make the smarter and faster decisions. So I kind of want to step away from voice for a second. I kind of want to, go into what is Housecall Pro Assist. So Housecall Pro Assist is our 24/7, 365 live answering service that is built directly into Housecall Pro. Now, our agents, they are going to act as a natural extension of your team. They're going to be able to book jobs, take messages. They can, make unscheduled jobs, answer FAQs that you may have. So that way, like I stated before, you do want to be an extension of your business. We want your callers to feel comfortable speaking with a real person who sounds like your business. All right. So now we're going to, dive a little bit more into Housecall Pro Assist. So Assist is going to be more like the live agent side. It's a smart system. It is a training where you go through, okay, this is the services that they offer. This is what this means. And then that way, when somebody calls in, I can take care of that. But so we use custom scripts, FAQs, and intake workflows that's tailored to the industry that you work in. So basically, our agents know home service lingo, your expectations. They're going to be able to be like on brand and consistent. So if a customer calls in and they're asking for, a repair on their AC, a leak in their toilet, electricity, anything that would deal like with your home lingo, we're going to understand what they're calling in for. And that's really important to me. And like, I feel like will set us apart from other answering services is because, when somebody calls in and they express their problem, we know how to handle that problem. We are not the professional in this case, though, so we do leave all of that up to you. That's what your job is. That's what you started this business for. But it's really nice for somebody to answer with a smile on their face, understand what that problem is, and getting it booked on your calendar for you to go ahead and fix the problem. All right, so this is kind of like a mix in the integration with Housecall Pro Assist and Voice. So every call is recorded and reviewed as well. You're going to be having full visibility into the conversations that we're having with your customers. So that's also super important. I encourage pros that use Housecall Pro Voice and Assist to listen to these calls to understand like how these interactions take place. Now, we do have a quality assurance team as well that's going to score and monitor. So that way we are always improving and we are maintaining our high service levels, just like how you would with your in-house team. Like you want to make sure that we are providing the same service that you would. So essentially with Housecall Pro Voice and Assist, being able to have those calls on demand is super helpful. They go directly into the call log that we set up. Perfect. So there are different ways that you can use Housecall Pro Assist. Essentially, you can do like full-time call handling. You can do it during backup during your peak hours. You can have your help during after hours. We have a model that's going to fit everybody. So you can scale support up or down based on your season, your volume, and your staff availability as well. Like Sarah, she uses it when she doesn't want to be on the phone. And I'm sure that, there's sometimes she probably looks at the phone ringing and says, "Ooh, I don't want to answer that." And then she passes that right over to Housecall Pro Assist. So we are able to kind of work around your schedule and what you need. So this is the fun part. Let's talk numbers. Let's talk what this is going to put into perspective for your business. So let's just say an average job for your business is $250. Assist is going to basically help you take your answer rate from 60% to 90%. That's going to be about, 70 calls per month. Now, let's, for assumption, say we're converting 60% of those calls. That's going to be about 42 extra jobs and over $10,000 in revenue. So if you are on the 250-minute plan, which is one of our more popular plans, that is $587.50. You're nearly getting 18 times your investment back. So we'll kind of go back through that process there. 250 minutes with calls averaging 3 to 5 minutes. You're going to be looking at almost 18 times your return on investment. All right, so getting started here, like she said, you got to go in with every detail that you need, how you like your job scheduled, what does your time slots look like. But we can get this done in about under 2 hours, I would say, is about an average time it takes to get everything set up. This is going to be your hours, your FAQs, your scripting, your preferences. And the really cool thing about this is that you don't have to hire anybody, you don't have to train anybody. There's going to be no waiting to kind of get them onboarded. You're going to be able to start capturing calls that same day that you go live. So let's talk about expanding your team here. So we want to think of Housecall Pro Assist. We want to think about that as your on-demand staff. They're going to be handling overflow. They're going to be handling nights, weekends, holidays. We've got it all covered here. So there's no need to manage, staff burnout for yourself. You don't have to pay anybody any benefits, PTO, coverage gaps. You get the power of a full team with none of the stress. You can take that out the door. We don't want it. We don't want stress around here. You're going to be able to handle that, and we'll take care of the rest. All you have to do is get your butt out there to do the job and get the money, and then everything else is on us. So I do want to take the time as well to, go about like the onboarding staff. They are super awesome. They make sure that you have all your questions answered before you go live. They make sure you're comfortable with call forwarding before you go live. So that way, when you do take that time and you're like, all right, let's do this. Once that call is finished up, once you do our test call, you're free to start using it right then. You don't have to wait, 1 to 2 weeks. You don't have to wait any longer than that. Go live right away. All right, so this is going to give you the full-time call center inside Housecall Pro Assist. You're going to be able to book more jobs. You're going to be able to improve your return on investment. You're going to be able to consistently give your customers a 5-star experience. So I want to help you guys get set up. I want you guys to stop losing calls, stop losing customers, and I want you to get that revenue, for a lifetime value. So that is all I have for you guys today on like the actual, going over the actual experience here. I do want to take about 5 to 10 minutes to go over a Q&A process so that see if I can get any questions answered. And also, was there any questions that anybody had like offhand? Anybody want to come off mute? Absolutely.
If you mentioned voice and you went through the benefits and features of it, and then you went through assist.
Yes.
Is it possible to do assist without voice? So I wanted to keep the phone system we have, or they have to go hand in hand?
They do go hand in hand, but you do not have to use voice to use Housecall Pro Assist. When you're using Housecall Pro Assist and voice together, that's where that integration comes in to keep everything under one roof. The benefit here, the main benefit here is to have like your call groups. It'll have like your recorded calls that you immediately get access to. Now, if you're using another phone system, Open Phone, Ring Central, Verizon, anything that you're using, you just essentially have to request those phone calls, which we don't mind sending to you at all. You can request 1 at a time, you can request 10 or from a certain date. That is completely up to you. But we can send those calls, but to answer, shortly, no, you do not have to use voice to use assist.
So where are your call centers? Where are the call
Yeah,
answerers
that is
located?
a super awesome question. So everybody's North American based, trained directly on the platform. They're actually all Housecall Pro employees, so we do not outsource anybody for the answering service.
Okay. So you have guys there answering at 3 in the morning?
Yes, we do, 24/7.
All right.
I will say though, I did take the calls from 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock one time, like 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. I was sitting there like this, holding my eyes open, but we got people there.
Yeah, I understand.
Now, are you still currently using Google Voice at all, or is that just something that you moved
That
away
was
from?
the way their company was originally set up. It's now just an AT&T second number on my phone.
Okay.
So
Do
just
you forward anybody like with your text that you currently have? I know that you said you mainly handle the calls, but do they help you at all, like whatsoever?
yeah, my main guy will take calls when I can't. I'll forward them to him sometimes, or if we're both together, I'll just sometimes hand him the phone. But
Okay.
normally I take the overwhelming majority of the calls.
That's understandable. And then with your current process for like after hours, do you have a process set up or you just, when you can take it, you take it?
Yeah, when I can take it, I take it. So usually I take those calls, but it's not always easy.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we would be able to just make sure that you get that opportunity, yourself. You don't have to have us schedule those jobs if you don't want to. You can
Mhm.
do like an unscheduled job and just have the lead available for you to call back. which I recommend this option for people that have like a more complex schedule process, or they just want to stay in charge of that scheduling. But to me personally, I feel like when you go ahead and confirm a time with your customer, it's going to eliminate that process of them calling somebody else. All right. One of the biggest challenges or pitfalls that I see from new Housecall Pro Assist users. I want to clarify that question a little bit. Are you talking about new to Housecall Pro, then moving into Housecall Pro Assist, or just using Housecall, being a new user to Housecall Pro Assist? Just Assist. Okay. And you're talking about pros moving to it or the agents handling the calls? Agents handling. Okay. So so the process and the way that agents are actually trained. So you go through like a 2 week process. The first week, you're going to be going through like how to handle the calls, like customer service, like how do we use the platform? And then the other week is going to be like the industry training. How do we service each industry that we help service? Now, when they finish these trainings, they go through an assessment process that's ran by the leadership side, making sure that they are fully comfortable and, ready to move forward to be on the lines. And then they go through a 5 day training, 3 to 5 day training, depending on everything. And we call this nesting. So essentially, they'll go into like going into the process of, answering the call. We have somebody available for them to go to, and then answer any questions on that end. Perfect. All right. Well, we ended right on time today. I really appreciate your guys' time. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I look forward to speaking with you. I really enjoyed our time today. Please let me know if there's anything that I can do for you. Just reach out to me. No hesitation. You guys have a good rest of your day.